Here's a question I want you to sit with for a second. What if the one food you've never questioned, the fruit sitting in your kitchen right now, is part of the reason you feel less like yourself than you did 10 years ago? Not junk food, not alcohol, fruit. I know that sounds almost absurd, but stick with me because once you understand what happens to your body's chemistry after 50, this will make complete sense, and it'll change how you shop for the rest of your life. Here's the reality most men over 50 have never been told. Your body handles sugar differently now. Your insulin response has slowed. Your testosterone producing cells are more sensitive to inflammation. And your arteries, which depend on clean, flexible blood flow, are far less forgiving of daily sugar spikes than they were in your 40s. So when you grab a banana in the morning, pour a glass of OJ, or snack on a handful of grapes, you might be feeding a cycle of hormonal suppression you didn't even know was running. Today, we're going to fix that. I'm going to walk you through 4 fruits that actively support testosterone and circulation in men over 50, and 4 that quietly work against you. One of them is probably the most universally healthy food on the planet. You're almost certainly eating it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you should stop. My name is Dr. Reena. I'm a board-certified urologist with 12 years of clinical experience, and I work specifically with men navigating their health after 50. What I've learned is this: the biggest changes don't come from dramatic overhauls. They come from getting the small daily decisions right. And what you eat for breakfast is one of the most powerful ones. Before we get into it, hit like if you're taking your health seriously, drop your age and location in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't. I put out practical, science-backed content like this every week for men who aren't done yet. Let's go. The 4 fruits working for you. 1. Pomegranate, the one I'd put above everything else. If I could only recommend one fruit to a man over 50, it would be this one. Not because it's trendy, but because the science behind it is genuinely hard to ignore. Pomegranate is loaded with polyphenols, compounds that essentially act as a repair crew for your arteries. They restore elasticity to stiffened blood vessels, improve circulation, and help your body produce more nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for keeping your vascular system flexible and functional. But here's what really sets pomegranate apart. Research shows it can raise testosterone levels in men. The mechanism is direct. It reduces oxidative stress in the testicular tissue where testosterone is produced. Less cellular damage means better hormonal output. It's that straightforward. So you've got one fruit protecting your arteries and supporting your hormone levels at the same time. That's a rare combination. Practically speaking, a small glass of unsweetened pomegranate juice a few times a week works well. So do the seeds sprinkled over yogurt or a salad. Just make sure it's unsweetened. The commercial versions with added sugar cancel out everything you're trying to achieve. 2. Watermelon, the circulation fruit. Nobody talks about. Most people think of watermelon as a summer treat. Light, refreshing, not much going on nutritionally. That assumption is completely wrong. Watermelon is one of the best natural sources of an amino acid called L-citrulline. Your body converts L-citrulline into L-arginine, which is the direct building block for nitric oxide production. More nitric oxide means more relaxed, flexible blood vessels. And better blood flow through flexible vessels means better circulation, everywhere that matters for a man over 50. Think of it this way: watermelon is essentially a nitric oxide precursor in fruit form. Eat it fresh, blend it into a morning smoothie, or juice it. It's low in calories, genuinely hydrating, and one of the most accessible circulation-supporting foods you can find year-round. 3. Berries, the everyday foundation. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. This whole family deserves a permanent spot in your daily routine, and the reason comes down to flavonoids. Flavonoids strengthen the inner lining of your arteries, reduce inflammation throughout the body, and actively lower blood pressure. Long-term studies show men who eat berries consistently have significantly better circulatory health as they age. The biology is simple. Berries do daily maintenance on your vascular system. What makes them especially valuable compared to most other fruits is their sugar profile. Berries are among the lowest glycemic options available. That means they don't produce the insulin spike that suppresses testosterone. You get the anti-inflammatory circulatory benefits without the hormonal cost. Add them to oatmeal, throw them into yogurt, or eat a handful as a snack. And here's the practical note most people miss. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh, and they're a fraction of the price year-round. 4. Avocado. Yes, it's a fruit, and yes, it matters. Avocado doesn't get talked about enough in the context of men's hormonal health, so let's fix that. Your body builds testosterone from cholesterol and healthy fats. Without the right raw materials, the hormonal production line simply slows down. Avocado is one of the richest sources of monounsaturated fat in the natural food world, the same category of fat found in olive oil. And your endocrine system uses those fats directly in testosterone production. It also contains high levels of potassium for arterial health and vitamin E for nerve sensitivity. But there's one more benefit worth naming directly. Avocado helps fight visceral belly fat, the abdominal fat that accumulates after 50 and actively converts testosterone into estrogen through a process called aromatization. The more belly fat a man carries, the more his body is working against its own hormonal balance. Avocado pushes back against that cycle. For hormonal health after 50, avocado might be the most complete food on this list. The 4 fruits working against you. 1. Grapes, the innocent-looking problem. A handful of grapes in the afternoon. Seems harmless, right? Here's the issue. Grapes are among the highest sugar fruits available. A generous portion can spike your blood sugar quickly, which triggers a sharp insulin response. An elevated insulin directly suppresses testosterone production. This is a documented, measurable biological mechanism, not a theory. On top of that, conventionally grown grapes carry one of the highest pesticide loads of any commercially available fruit. Several of those pesticides are classified as endocrine disruptors, compounds that interfere with hormone signaling at the cellular level. For a man whose hormonal system is already under pressure after 50, that's a compounding problem. If you love grapes, keep portions small and go organic when you can, but as a daily habit, they're not earning their place on your plate. 2. Bananas, the healthy snack. Myth. Bananas have been marketed as the perfect natural snack for decades. And yes, the potassium is real, but the full picture looks different. Bananas have a high glycemic load. They digest fast, especially when ripe, and they push blood sugar up quickly. That daily insulin response quietly chips away at testosterone over time. It also supports the kind of abdominal fat storage that further disrupts hormonal balance. Men who swap their daily banana for a handful of berries or half an avocado often report noticeable changes in energy and their midsection within a few weeks. One banana occasionally isn't a problem. Making it your morning default after 50 is a pattern worth reconsidering. 3. Dried fruit, concentrated sugar in disguise. Raisins, dates, dried figs, dried apricots. Small, portable, feels virtuous. But when you remove the water from fruit, you concentrate the sugar dramatically. A small handful of raisins can deliver the sugar equivalent of multiple servings of fresh grapes, in a fraction of the volume and with very little of the fiber that would slow absorption. That concentrated sugar hits your bloodstream hard. Insulin spikes, testosterone dips, belly fat has exactly what it needs to grow. Repeated daily as a healthy snack, dried fruit compounds into real hormonal damage over months. Treat it the way you'd treat a small dessert, occasional and small, not as a nutritional staple. 4. Oranges and orange juice, the hardest one to hear. I know this one is going to land differently for a lot of men, so I want to be precise. A whole orange, eaten with its fiber intact, is not the problem. It has genuine nutritional value, vitamin C, folate, real benefits. The problem is what most men actually do. They pour a full glass of orange juice every morning, sometimes 2, and a standard glass of commercial OJ, even freshly squeezed, no added sugar, contains the sugar from 3 or 4 oranges with virtually none of the fiber. That fiber is the key. It's what slows sugar absorption in the whole fruit. Without it, you're essentially drinking a concentrated sugar delivery system first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. The insulin response is immediate and significant. Testosterone takes the hit. And for men with any prostate sensitivity, daily orange juice has been associated with increased irritation over time due to its acidity and sugar load. The fix is simple: eat the orange, skip the juice, or save it for rare occasions rather than a daily ritual. Your practical plan: you don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Here's the simple framework I give my own patients. Add these consistently: pomegranate, juice or seeds, a few times a week watermelon, fresh or blended, especially in warmer months. Berries, daily if you can, fresh or frozen. Both work. Avocado, as a consistent part of your meals, not just a garnish. Pull back on these. Grapes, smaller portions, organic when possible. Bananas, occasional, not daily. Dried fruit, treat it like a treat. Orange juice, replace it with water. If you want citrus, eat a whole orange, small swaps. Consistent choices. That's it. A final word. In 12 years of clinical practice, I've watched men walk into my office convinced that what they were feeling, the fatigue, the declining energy, the loss of drive, was just aging, inevitable, nothing to be done. Then they made a few small changes, not dramatic ones, just the kind we talked about today, and they came back different. Blood work improved, energy returned, and something on their face that I genuinely never get tired of seeing: the look of a man who got something back he'd stopped expecting. Your body isn't broken, it isn't finished, it's responding every single day to the signals you send it through, the choices you make. Change the signals, and the response changes with them. Start this week. Add pomegranate, swap the orange juice, get some berries into your mornings, then watch what your body does when you finally give it the right support. If this gave you something useful today, please like the video. It helps reach other men who need to hear this. Subscribe if you haven't. Share it with someone you know who's been struggling with energy and doesn't know where to start. Drop a comment below: your age, where you're watching from, and which fruit you're committing to this week. I read every single one. I'm Dr. Reena. I'll see you in the next one. Getting older is not the same as giving up, not even close.